no money, that's an asshole. It wasn't a phase.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the Senior Citizen Podcast, and today we are here with some cool 2000s-ish grunge with Ex Monarch.
Hi.
How you guys doing?
We're good.
Well,
fantastic.
2/4 or 2/5 of Ex Monarch?
2/5.
All right. Thank you guys for coming out.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
I want to hear a little bit about the band. I know it started with Amanda and Eli, so just how did it come into fruition, I guess?
It started with a single song, Amelia, that we wrote together about a very rough experience, as most music comes from. And we performed it at an open mic, and George, our drummer, was in the audience, and he's like, we should turn this into a project. And so we got in the studio, recorded it, acquired some friends along the way, and then hence the band. And it was so fun to make it, and we worked really well together. We were like, why don't we just keep going?
Yeah, exactly. When she first, brought the song, which is Amelia, it's off our first record, Whatever You See, Look Again.
Shameless plug.
She brought it to me, and I was like, this is a fantastic song. But she had never sang rock before. My background is basically only in rock, hard rock, metal, stuff like that. And I was like, dude, this would be a fantastic rock song. And at first she didn't believe me, but as I kind of pushed her towards that, she kind of was like, oh man, this could work.
Right.
And through that process, we recorded our first record. And then, after we recorded that and released it, we've been doing this ever since.
That's so cool. Was it originally written with the intention of being like a pop song?
It
or
wasn't really written with any intention that most people write music for. It was just music's very therapy driven for me. I use it as an outlet, and I don't know. Finishing songs feels like navigating complicated emotions. So it's if I can finish a song, I feel like I thought through that emotion or that experience. I feel much better about it now, and I don't know. I brought it to him as hey, this is something I went through. I really want to finish working through this, and would you mind helping me get there? And then it turned into more than that. So yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
It's I just tripped over having a whole band.
Yeah, kinda. Yeah. Just kind of fell into it. Yeah. I went into college not really planning to do much performing. We're both music engineering majors, and I was planning on doing research, or I didn't really know what at that point, but something involving audio and technology, and I was a songwriter as well. And so I kind of just planned to not do that, and then it became my whole life suddenly.
So there's a certain breed of talent at it's UM school that you guys are at, right? And I really see the difference. Not throwing shade to anybody else. I think it's just you guys are equipped with a different kind of tools.
Yeah, totally.
That sometimes a lot of people hey, it takes me a little longer to get all these tools in my toolbox, right? And I say that personally because Brayton is probably one of my favorite artists in this local scene, and I know he's also at the UM School of Music.
Yeah,
Same thing with Further Within. They are super talented. So, where was I going with this?
It doesn't matter.
Oh, you guys are doing audio engineering.
Yeah,
so before getting into that career choice, did you know what all that was going to entail? Because I remember Brayton was like, I don't want to learn half this crap.
Yeah. So, I came to Frost School of Music basically with the intent of getting as good as I could as a songwriter and as a musician. In high school, I had always kind of been into recording and things like that, so I just kind of naturally fell into that program. I didn't realize I would like it as much as I did, when I came, but more than anything, I was there for contemporary guitar and songwriting.
Mm-hmm.
From the moment I got there to right now, it's all I've been thinking about.
Sorry, professors.
Yeah. So, I think Frost School of Music has really helped us not only develop our skills as, young budding musicians, but, also develop our confidence, that we can be great at this project, we can be great at this instrument. All we have to do is keep grinding, every day and really work towards it.
Right. And you guys do have the toolbox, but not saying that doesn't have the same amount of work going into it as anybody else.
Work might have just started younger, you know, and like we were fortunate enough to find the passion younger and cultivate it, and have the skill set at the point of going into college that we could do that. And so, yeah, very, very lucky to be able to have that.
Yeah, and I think it's those things in high school that kind of just form us into what we want to do. Like my biggest memory from high school is the fact that we had a radio station.
Yeah.
And that to me was like, oh, this is what I want to do with my
Yeah,
life.
yeah.
Like, and then, you know, went to college straight into journalism. I didn't have to really think about it.
So cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice, you know, because when you see people jumping around from degree to degree to
Yeah,
different
no,
college.
My mom, she didn't even go to college. She's done so many different things, and it's so funny because it's like she didn't have that like knowing what she wanted to do going into like that stage of her life. So I don't know, both can be cool. I mean, you get such a diverse amount of experiences when you do so many things.
Yeah.
But then you're able to go further in one area once you stick to it, you know, the 10,000 hours kind of thing. So
Exactly. Yeah. Oh God, I haven't heard that in a while. No, and not going to college, it's like, I hate the public school system because they're like, you have to go to college, and if it's out of state, it's better, and if it's a state university, even
Yeah.
better. And it's like, dude, just go to community college.
yeah, just do what you can, you know.
Yeah.
And do it if you love it also.
And don't get into student debt. And if you don't know what you want to do,
That's
then
okay, too.
take a time out and think about it, homie, because that's time and money going
Yeah,
into it. Oh, I thought you were going to say something. Sorry.
Fixing our posture for the camera.
I always start off straight, and then I'm like the Hunchback of Notre Dame by the end of it.
You know, the telephone like just makes me like this.
Oh, yeah. No, I feel that. So you guys, the musicians, just kind of came along the way, bassist, other guitarists.
Yeah, we've gone through a couple of members, and they're the most consistent ones have been me, Amanda, Eli, Jake, who also serves as our producer. He's so talented, but he's also a really talented lead guitarist, and so he serves that role as well. And Sammy Guevara used to be our bassist, but she's moving away, unfortunately, and we are staying here, and she's also just so busy with school, and she's also in the band Pope Love. They're awesome, psychedelic rock. And so we recently invited Sadie Birch to be the bassist, and she's been phenomenal. She blends so well with all of us. George Staten is our drummer. He also drums for Brayton. He's all over the scene, but Eli's roommate as well.
I think Ex Monarch really started kind of as a friend, kind of like just a group, you know. So, you know, George, our bassist, him and I have been incredibly close since day
Our
one.
drummer.
Or
George.
George, our drummer.
Yeah.
We've been incredibly close since day one. You know, the old guitarist and someone who helps us. He's still on the team. He helps us in a business way. Logan Reniker, you know, he's been my very close friend as well since day one.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, Amanda and I have been, you know, as close as friends as, you know, we throughout our whole college career.
Yeah.
You know, so I think more than anything, I think what makes Ex Monarch gel is just, you know, we have that friendship first.
Right.
And I think that's super important because when we're, you know, every other weekend we're in Tampa,
Different
Tallahassee.
city, sharing a hotel room, you know, it makes it so much easier.
Yeah. You don't want to be like, God, I hate this guy.
Yeah,
I have to travel again.
Yeah, and the music also is on such a, like, it's so vulnerable to be able to share that with people that aren't sort of foreign to you, you know? Like, I mean, I don't know, it's a lot easier to be like, hey, I have this idea about this shit that happened. Sorry, I don't know if I
No, it's okay.
it's so much easier to be open about it and like your direction for the song with people that you're closer to,
Right.
you know?
I respect that.
Yeah.
Eli, what's your background in music? I'm sorry. You said you were into recording in high school.
Yes.
When did you start playing guitar?
So I actually, I started playing piano at a pretty young age. My parents didn't really play music growing up, but my mom, she played a little bit of classical piano growing up, so they kind of, you know, they asked me to be in that tradition, and I played classical, and then as I started to play more piano, I started to play jazz, and that's kind of when I started to look into schools of music for jazz piano. And kind of during high school, you know, jazz piano was my family's thing, I think, more than mine. And as I started to go to different schools and things like that, you know, I was like, you know, maybe, you know, this thing that I've been doing on the side of playing guitar with my friends, maybe this is something that I, you know, I can get good enough to go to a real school of music for.
Mm-hmm.
And when I went to Frost, they kind of sat me down and were like, listen, if jazz isn't your passion, you're good enough for guitar.
Right.
You know, and I really needed to hear that at that moment. And so I taught myself guitar before college, and then obviously in college I've had lessons and lots of growth there. But guitar has just kind of always been there. And then once I started playing in bands, you know, it's been all I think about.
Right.
I very much love it.
Were you guys Miami raised or no?
I'm from Florida,
Okay.
actually. So I'm from Naples, not the
Awesome.
rich part, but I guess it's all the rich part. But yeah. I'm
Naples
from
is so pretty.
It is pretty. It is pretty. It's a lot of old people, which, you know, no hate, love you guys. So I had a very sheltered childhood in a lot of ways, just because of how beautiful the city is and stuff like that. I'm not from Miami, but from Florida.
Right. Still a culture shock. This is different breed.
Yeah.
Because I grew up in Broward.
Oh, okay. So you've seen it.
Yeah, and coming to Miami for FIU and whatnot, I was like, oh, it's different over here.
That's a different case. When I was first learning to drive, I used to do acting, and the closest casting agencies in Miami, and so my mom would drive me, and I was like, Mom, I never want to drive to Miami. And then of course I go to school here and have to drive around here. It's definitely
I switched gears.
I'm so aggressive. I'm like laying on the horn. I like had to give myself a daily limit. I'm like no more than 3 honks.
I drive a little Beetle just so I can like weave in and out of traffic. If I drive anything bigger, I'm crashing.
Yeah.
I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Oh wow!
So I'm a long way from home.
Wow.
But I will say I do very much like Florida.
Yeah.
I love Miami, and I love just the mesh of all the different cultures. And I found a second home here, and I really, really do. I love being in this area.
You really get two types of people that like they're either like, oh, I grew up here and I hate it. Like everyone I grew up to, it's like I need to get out of here.
Yeah.
And then you have people that come here and they appreciate it for what it is.
Yeah.
And I've grown up around this area and whatever, and as I've gotten older, I'm like, it's so much more fun when you're an adult.
Yeah.
Like you guys hated this place because you were 15. This place is great.
Coral Gables obviously isn't Miami, but I've staying here during the summer and seeing the area not as a college town has been fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. It's such a chill place, and then when you want to go crazy, you can go to Brickell or downtown. But there's so many like local places that are just really full of life and excitement. So
great food too.
I was about to say the food here is so good. You travel, you find like one good restaurant, and then you end up eating there for like 3 days.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, but that's so cool that you guys are the other band members Miami based, or did they come out from?
So Jake Sonderman, our producer, he is from the Coachella Valley,
as he says,
California. So
I feel like that's a lie, but okay.
He's in that area. He just says that because it's like it brings a bell for people, And then George is from Delray Beach, right? Yeah.
Okay.
And then Sadie's from Miami.
Okay.
So she knows the area and she still loves it.
Yeah.
Which, it's very uncommon, as you said, for people who've grown up here to be appreciative of it.
Yeah, no, when you hit a certain age and you're just like, no, it's kind of cool out here and you still live with your parents and you don't pay rent, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
But that's awesome. Where did the name Ex Monarch come from?
Well, it was originally going to be RX Queen, based on the Deftones song.
Yes.
But we were like, that could be a problem, copyright-wise, somewhere down the line if anything happens. So we were like, we should probably change that. And so the whole band was on a group call for like an hour and a half, just like, okay, what about this? What about that? And so we landed on Ex Monarch. We were like, okay, that's cool. We'll do that.
Yeah, we were all in the car. I was with, I guess we were on a group call. I was in the car with my mom, and she was the one that was originally like Ex Monarch. And then, we said it in the chat, and we're like, actually, this works.
Shout out, Mom.
Yes, shout out, Mom. But
shout out to moms. You guys are awesome.
Truly. No, that's a cool. Yeah, I wondered because it wasn't like a typical name you would see. I'm like, yeah, it's a cool band name. But I love you guys' sound. I actually had the opportunity to check it out before coming out to the interview, and it's great. I'm not a huge fan of grunge, and then every once in a while I just stumble upon something where I'm like, wow, no, I actually really do like this.
Cool, thanks.
I want to hear individually, you're welcome, about any like emo phases. I want to say that Pennsylvania is the Midwest, so maybe you dealt with Midwest emo.
I love myself some emo music for sure. I went through, of course, if we're talking about Midwestern emo, of course you got to go American football. You can't not. But I had my Black Parade.
Yeah, your Black Parade.
I think we all did, But MCR is always going to be one of my favorite guitar tones ever. So anything they put out, I love it.
Okay.
But I'm more of a '90s guy more than anything.
Okay.
And I also love shoegaze as well. Any sort of shoegaze mixed with metal, shoegaze mixed with screamo or anything like that. I very much enjoy that.
What is like a shoegaze mixed with screamo to you?
One of my favorite bands is a band out of Philadelphia called Nothing. They released a record.
I feel like you're trolling me right now.
That is literally his favorite band.
Okay.
I laugh because it's like every other day we'll hear, oh, that one Nothing song, But they're great. They're really awesome.
Yeah. They just released a brand new record, and it is amazing. And it's just like that. They did it in collaboration with a black metal band, and so that sound is just it boggles my mind. I love it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna check it out. When you said American football, I for some reason have either like blocked it out from memory or I have never heard of American football before. But I'm a huge modern baseball fan.
Oh, that's funny.
So it feels like I'm being trolled. And I say it because just today I was going on TikTok and they were making these guys guess like the top 10 emo bands of all time. And the first thing he says is American football. And they're like, that's not on the list. And I'm like, I'm being trolled? Is that a real band? Do these guys know what they're talking about? But anyways, like Falling in Reverse was on the list, but nothing like, no Death Cab for Cutie, Dashboard Confessional, no, nothing like that.
As far as like an emo phase, I never really had an emo phase. I think I just have like emo months throughout my whole life where I'm like, all right, let's listen to some Death Cab for Cutie or let's listen to some MCR, and it'll be like just like 2 weeks if that's like all I listen to, and then it's back to like listening to everything. But yeah, maybe in middle school, I think we all have a little bit of that. I listened to a lot of System of a Down in middle school, but then it would be like System of a Down and then Lana Del Rey, and then like all over the board, Nina Simone, and like, yeah.
I went heavy through that Lana phase.
Yeah.
Heavy.
How can you not?
But it wasn't Venn diagrammed with like the emo phase. The emo phase was its own thing. It was a lot of Sleeping with Sirens, a lot of Pierce the Veil, Falling in Reverse, all that jazz, and then at some point I hit like the Lana Marina phase.
Yeah, I feel I never had the Marina or like the Melanie Martinez like part. It was just Lana for me, and I feel like it was just so cool. Like I feel like Lana was like that era of like your not adulthood. What's the word I'm looking for? Your childhood. What's the word I'm looking? The in between.
Like your preteen.
Yeah, your preteen era when you're like discovering your sexuality and like she just like fits that era so well.
Yeah, She made me want to start smoking cigarettes. Yeah, at like 13. Exactly. Made no sense.
And drinking old fashions.
Right.
This is what I do on a Thursday.
I can shoot a whiskey. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
No, but no. The Melanie phase, it was all conjoined there for me, and I fell off when there was like that rumor that she like sexually abused her best friend.
Oh yeah.
Which then turned out to be a lie, and everybody got back on Melanie, but I didn't. Yeah. And her new stuff, I tried to give it a chance.
It's just not for me. All love. I can't connect with it.
I thought it was just me because I see people like, they're all excited for the concert.
Purposes, who knows.
There's something going on there. My boyfriend, I have to call him out. He saw it and he's like, it's giving me furry vibes. I know it's not a furry, but it's the vibe I am getting. I have a certain amount of ick from this, and I'm like, I think we all do.
Yeah, just a little bit.
All right, but so there was no like real intense emo phases here for you guys. No bad eyeliner.
I know, surprisingly, you would think so, but I think maybe we're just still in one. I don't know. Well, maybe that's where like the the somber, like Phoebe Bridgers-esque vocals with like screaming guitar contrast comes from. Like,
You still have to get it out.
yeah,
It's still locked up in there.
yeah,
You just
I
haven't.
know, so much childhood trauma.
You need to hurry up because an emo phase after 25 is just embarrassing at this point.
True. Okay, we gotta work on that. We gotta get the ball rolling.
Yeah, I need my chem album coming out from you guys next.
Yes. We are working on one right now.
Tell me a little bit about it.
It's following a storyline that I don't know how much we want to get into yet because
Not
don't
yet.
expose it, but yeah, we're definitely going more into that sound, I think.
Yeah, and I'm really excited about this next record.
Yeah.
We have been working over the last about year and a half. We all stayed this summer in Miami instead of going back to our respective homes to work on it. So we wrote all this summer. This semester we've been in the studio almost every weekend. We were in there last night and the night before. It's looking to be around 12, 13 tracks, which is going to be awesome.
Really cool.
The single that we just released in September, it's called The Art of Detachment.
Mhm.
That's kind of the first single off this next record cycle.
And it'll be the
Awesome.
end of the album too, which is interesting. It's like the first thing we put out, but it's what it ends with.
Okay,
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah. And a little plug too, our next single is releasing on March 8th.
And if you
It'll be out by then.
Yeah. Oh, really?
It'll yes.
Oh, great. Well, if you pre-saved it, you get a free preview of the song and an entry into the merch raffles.
Okay. Is that going to be consistent for probably the other singles that you're going to launch?
Yeah.
too?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Then it's a pre-save music when it's announced because
It helps the artist.
it's literally free.
Yeah.
But no, that's awesome. I'm glad to hear that you guys have been in the studio. It sounds like everybody has like a really good work ethic to
Definitely.
get shit done.
We try. I mean, there are days or like weeks where it's like pulling teeth to like finish a single line. Like we were finishing up a song last night. It took us 30 minutes to come up with one word. And it's just there's days like that where it's like you're so glad to be there and like working on what you love to do, but it's like,
Yeah.
come on, brain, just
Right.
like work a little faster for me. You know?
No, and then sometimes you got to step away from it and come
Yeah.
back because you might come back tomorrow and be like, "That's not the word I
Yeah,
wanted."
exactly.
But that's cool, and I love to hear that you guys are doing a full-length album and that you are probably experimenting with a little bit of a different sound that you haven't done before. When you guys are in school, do you guys learn any sort of music marketing or is it strictly
Yeah,
engineering?
definitely.
What tips can you guys share since a lot of artists follow the podcast?
I mean, make content. I know it's so hard to get yourself out there and do all those trends, but it helps. I mean, like we just put out a couple videos about like, of course I do this, and I got a little like lashback from people that were like, why are you guys hopping on? I'm like, you have to, I mean, if you want to reach people and you want people to hear you, you have to reach out in the ways that they are like accustomed to, it's like speaking a language. That's what I feel like doing things that will feed the doing things that will feed the algorithm are like how to speak the language. If you want to get a reach, you have to make the effort to do so. And obviously we all love making music and like that's what we're doing it for, but it's part of the deal. I mean, as frustrating as it can be to like get up on a Sunday morning and film yourself like lip syncing. I mean, it's what you have to do,
Right. Have you seen a direct correlation of like if you post a video that does get some good reception, have you seen the streams kind of go up?
Yes. Okay. I mean, it's in the numbers. I mean, people, if they see you and they like you as a person, they're going to want to stream your music. And, yeah, just be yourself also. Like, even if I don't like a certain trend that I'm doing, I try and make it more my own so it feels more honest. And I don't know, do you have any tips?
I mean, I guess two things. Number one, I also think it's like we are on the beginning of this journey.
Yeah.
We don't know everything. We don't know really how to, we've got friends who have much larger follower count than we do, or much more streams. But the stuff that we're saying here is just the stuff that we've seen on a small scale, work for us. But I also think make sure to get your music protected. I think that's the biggest thing. So register with BMI, which is totally free. That way you can get royalties from your music, which is not much, right? Or if we have a few thousand streams, that's like nothing.
Yeah.
But, you know, if someone comes along and you're not registered or you're not copyrighted or you don't have everything, you know, claim that it's yours, you made it, you know, if someone comes around and says, that's a great song, and steals it, you know, it's there and they claim it first, you know. So it's really important to make sure that you stay up to date on your paperwork and, you know, making sure that you can get your royalties from it as well. I think that's one of the biggest things that they kind of pound into our head in music school is making sure that, you know, your music business side is just as important as your creative side.
Right.
Another tip would be make an EPK. It's really good for booking larger venues or just talking to bigger companies. As a smaller artist, if they see you have an EPK, they might take you more seriously. For anyone who doesn't know, that's an electronic press kit. It just includes a bio about the band, all the members, the music, your email, what else?
Where you played.
Yeah. It's like a rough resume.
Almost.
And that'll really help for booking shows.
For sure. I love how you mentioned that, like, oh, you know, we're just starting, we don't know how it works. Even people, and I mean for social media in general, I've been working with social media for years, and it's like I still don't know how it works. Like, yes, there's trends, the algorithm and stuff, but it's hard to figure out. And I like hearing a little bit from everybody, you know, what's worked for them. And that's why I asked, not exactly just to put you like, you know, you're an expert on this pedestal now, like zero pressure. It's just hearing what might have worked for you. And I'm sure anybody who's watching like really appreciates the advice, even if they're not working in music or have some other project going on. I don't know if you guys have watched our episodes. So you know that you have to give relationship advice, right?
Yes.
I think it also should be noted that through Ex Monarch, we're in a relationship of like almost 2 years at this point.
We don't like to make it like a big part of the band because it's not, you know.
We want to make
it's
sure.
It's separate from the music. So.
Yes. So side note, one of my favorite bands is Oh Wonder. They're a duo.
Right.
And UK. Super great music, by the way.
Yeah.
You like them?
Yeah, I like them.
I love them. I got to see them in House of Blues.
Oh, cool.
Okay, anyways, for the longest time, it was like, you guys are dating. No, we don't want to talk about it. We don't talk about that. And then all of a sudden, they're like, oh, we're getting married. Like, why are you doing this to me? And then release a whole album about how they almost broke up.
Yeah. Because it's so private, you know.
Oh, it is, 100%. I think that's part of just, you know, being in some sort of limelight. People are going to ask those questions. I thought you guys were just friends, and honestly, if you are in a relationship, it's all good. But now that we have a relationship here, we can have expert advice, right? So it says, my girlfriend, who's a 24-year-old female, has a party where she needs to bring a date, and I, 25 male, am out of town for work that weekend, and she is okay if her friends pick her date for the party. I didn't read these preemptively. I didn't have time to look for them. My boyfriend actually sent them to me, so we're trusting his judgment. So my girlfriend, 24 female, 3 years, has a party with her friend group. It is a date party where everyone brings a date or their girlfriend or boyfriend. I am out of town that weekend, and she said she doesn't want to skip the party and that she is fine that her friends will pick a date for her. You can't come without a date. For me personally, it doesn't feel right if she goes on a date with someone else, even if it's just for the sake of a party. For me, it is a principle that counts in a relationship. I also explained that to her, but she thinks I'm exaggerating it. Am I exaggerating, or should I just let it slide?
I mean, dog, this is kind of my thing, but I trust my partner completely.
Yeah.
So, you know, if that's something they want to do, I trust that they're not gonna.
You'd be okay if she had to take a date to a party.
If she wanted to take one of her friends, that's fine with me.
How I feel is like if your partner expresses that something makes them uncomfortable, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. If like, you know, if they're not there, they're gonna worry. I don't know. I think just don't go. Just don't go. It's not worth it. There's other things you can do with your time. There's other things you can do with your friends. And like, you can probably find, if you really want to go to that party and you have to have a date, just go with like a friend, you know?
Yeah.
You know, like not some guy that you don't know. Like that just, me as a partner, if the roles were reversed, I'd be so anxious, you know? And felt I couldn't express it. And then it would come out sideways. And then that's how issues come about. I mean, if it makes your partner uncomfortable, just don't go.
Yeah.
Or find a way to go without going with someone that would make them anxious.
Right.
Or stay home and stream Ex Monarch on all streaming platforms.
Or just play
What a
Fortnite.
wonderful idea. While streaming Ex
While
Monarch.
streaming Ex Monarch.
Look at that. No, I mean, I mean, if I was in that position where my boyfriend had to take a date somewhere, I mean, just to put things into context, he went out to play pickleball with his friend. His friend brought his girlfriend, and his girlfriend brought a friend. And he, for a week, had to hear about how he went on a double date without me.
Yeah.
So I would be petty about it and very passive aggressive, but I know that he wouldn't. And I think that's where your advice really
it's
falls
like-
in. If
It's a combo of like trust your partner, but if you're the partner that's doing something that is untrustworthy, just try and communicate as best you can and don't do things that make your partner uncomfortable.
yeah, that's a good way to keep a relationship.
Yeah.
All right, guys, it's now your shameless plug moment. You
Okay.
can let that camera know anything they need to know about Ex Monarch.
Hi guys, we're Ex Monarch, as you know, and we have a single coming out on March 8th. And if it's already out, which is it already out by then? March 8th?
Yes.
Okay. We have a new single. It is called Take a Moment. It is a great song, and we hope you love it. Please go stream it. It'd be so great. Feel free to follow us on Instagram.
Yeah, at Ex Monarch Band.
Yep.
And please be involved with your local scene. It's always
support the
great
scene.
to lift up your peers, because the only thing that can come from positivity is more positivity. So keep going and play some good music.
Thank you guys for this
Yeah.
peaceful chat. I feel like that shameless plug was like a warm hug.
Aw.
So everyone make sure to pre-save Ex Monarch's music, follow them, support your local scene, as Eli said, and make sure to follow the Senior Citizen podcast, like, comment, engage, and keep us going. We'll see you all next week.
Thank you so much.
Thanks,
for having
guys.
us.